Good evening and happy Tuesday, everybody. And yes, Keith Fleming has made his way into the intro. I don't know. I think you were looking down, Keith. I think you missed your cartoon image.
I know, and I was begging for that, and now I'll have to go back and watch it when it's up on YouTube, which that's
Good,
not a
you'll
bad thing. That's
good. You'll
good
get
for
us
the
another view. That's what we'll
juice the stats.
exactly. But this is Divots and Pivots. I'm Angela Duke, and as I said, Keith Fleming here, as always, my wonderful co-host, and as always, brought to you by Acorn Hills. Get on over to Acorn Hills Co. That's acornhillsco.com. Use discount code DivPiv15 for 15% off your next order, and check out the Founders Club as well. Nate wanted especially to mention, let everyone know that his Founders Club is live. It's going. That means every quarter you can sign up, subscribe to the service, and he will pick out by hand new items, new apparel, new accessories to include in a box for you every single quarter. So go and sign up for the Founders Club over on acornhillsco.com. But let's get into the golf because we're coming off of Riviera, and Riviera, for the most part, was what we expected. And the weather played a role. We saw a little weather. We saw a little kind of adversity with the scrambling of the tee times. But overall, without breaking down the entire tournament, did you enjoy? Like, I feel like we're getting to those tournaments now where we're going to really start to enjoy the production of watching them on TV. Did you enjoy watching Riviera this past weekend?
Oh yeah, I always enjoy watching Riviera. It's a great venue. It's kind of wild that the first hole is the easiest hole on tour,
Mm.
and then after that, there's not much else. It's
Right.
very forgiving. Congrats to Jacob Bridgman. Had him sixth in my model and did not bet him to win, which is frustrating. I did have him as a DFS play, which is good. But the more I thought about, he was sixth in your model, Keith, and he was 100 to 1. You probably should have bet that. So that's a lesson learned for me.
Yeah, I mean, and it's the thing. Bridgman has. You look at his stats now, and obviously that seeing that result of the one on his schedule.
Oh yeah, Donna, they're juiced now, but
They're
still.
juiced now, but they were quietly. I'll say quietly juiced leading into even last week. He had like 4 straight top 30s, I think it was, or 20s even. I don't have it right in front of me, but he's been having a great start to the season. So, you were obviously on him there, but I get it where sometimes it's hard to bet those names that you just. Until he did it on Sunday, actually until Saturday when he was up 7 or 8 strokes at the going into Sunday.
Yeah.
He just wasn't one of those names that you think of and think, oh, PGA Tour winner. I know that's a terrible reason to use as a stat, but you know what I mean. Like there's some guys, but they just don't pop as quote unquote winner.
Signature event. There was 4,000 names in that field that were more appealing.
Right.
He's definitely one of us though. The 7-wood, which. I've said this for a long time. It changed my golf game. I put one in the bag in 2014. It's the easiest club in the world to hit. I'm serious. If you're a golfer that struggles, particularly from what would be long iron territory or, laying up on par fives or even looking for a club on short, like par fours and par fives LT, the 7-wood goes so high that it's like the easiest club in the world to hit straight. I love mine. The one I have now is the third 7-wood I've had since I went to it. And the fact that the golf shot of the week was a 7-wood to a foot made me feel good. I was like, hey, just like us.
And watch out I believe it's Bob Does Sports they're rocking 9 woods out there too. So I mean there's woods galore these days.
I don't want to say that, but I may know some people with one.
Yeah, hey, there's nothing wrong with it. Whatever you're gonna do to get around the course, it's a club for a reason. But yeah, so that's and we'll get into more of that as well. But first, let's kick off with some more of the general news before we recap the full tournament. And I don't know if you saw, Keith, but I think it was earlier today. The structure of Brooke Koepka's charitable donation was released. I don't know if you peeped that, but his $5 million charitable donation as part of his reinstatement plan was released, and it's basically structured to where he got to pick like $1 million of it went out to a PGA approved charity. I think it was the Nicholas Foundation. Another 1.5 went out to like a select few. Another 2.5 went to select. So like it's a lot of charities are going to be helped by it. So it's great in that sense. I found it curious. Like there was the last bit of it was that like select people on the board or part of PGA in some way get to pick themselves a charity. Like, do you have any feelings on like spreading it out that much, or like how they did that, or is this just kind of noise in the background?
I mean, it doesn't make a difference to me. It's good for the charities. The PGA Tour does more charitable work than any organization, professional sport organization in the world. I know this because they recently gave us 20 grand to renovate the clubhouse. The Tour Championship did at one of the City of Atlanta courses, Alfred Tup Home. So that's great. I still don't totally understand how they allowed this, where he's just he's walking right back in. When they were told, if you go, bye. Like this, there is no way to come back. Did I believe that was the case? No. I'm a huge wrestling fan, and there's a saying in WWE that never say never with stars coming back.
How many retirements have ended?
Well, I mean, not only that, like CM Punk had one of the ugliest exits with the company ever, and it felt like an impossibility that he was going to come back to wrestling. Came back to AEW, still nobody expected. Show back up in WWE. I mean, anything. The Ultimate Warrior. There's documentaries about him. How much they had a ugly breakup. He came back, was nominated. So they were going to take the star power, and thank God he is in the field this week. Or I would not be very happy if I was Cognizant, because it's like,
the field's
Jesus,
a little.
What is this?
Well, it is a string. This is what you get though when you're sandwiched between. They're coming. PGA schedule's coming off two back-to-back signatures. We got the players coming up. We got Bay Hill coming up. Like this, unfortunately, is. I hate to put it this way, but kind of a throwaway week for a lot of guys. And even so, like I doubt Bridgman. I think Bridgman's probably going to withdraw this week. I know he's.
Oh, he already has.
He has officially. Okay, I hadn't seen the news that he officially had, so that was to be expected. He had played like 3 straight weeks. He's already committed to Bay Hill. He's obviously going to play the player. So like, it made sense. That would have made 6 weeks in a row if he played this week. So it's unfortunate, but there are just these tournaments on the schedule that it just kind of is what it is. And they recently, changed the name of this to the Cognizant. So like this tournament has kind of been in a transition period anyways.
Always be the Honda to me forever.
Right, exactly. But it's, I think it's lost some
for sure.
Which is
it's a shame because, of course, we'll get into this.
Yeah,
they've like neutered it as well, which is just a shame.
It's way too gettable now.
Again, they kind of have to, because you're surrounded by all these difficult venues, signature events, and the good news is, for gambling purposes, I think this is a rough one because the odds and stuff came out before we had like another 6-7 guys in the field, end up dropping out. But you can always find some, real long shots in these type events. And these are huge for guys trying to retain their card, trying to, get to signature events. I mean, a win here is going to change just about anybody in this field's trajectory of their career.
100%. That's why these tournaments do still matter. I know it's easy to, to poo-poo on them. I'm looking quickly at the guys who have withdrawn. Ben Griffin withdrew.
Yep.
So that
Adam Scott.
Saying that's a shame, because Adam Scott was a guy that I thought I was going to get excited about, playing and betting this week. So that's a shame there. Patrick Rogers, I guess big whoop there. No one else is jumping out at me at this point, but obviously, as we said, Bridgman as well. So it still serves a purpose on the tour in the season. This tournament still matters. It's kind of it's guys are taking a breather to get ready for what is become a great stretch of golf as we major season. And I know there's talk about wanting to move the PGA Championship back to August, and I kind of like the way it is still now.
Oh, I definitely do.
The new schedule. Like I said, we now enter this just run that takes us through the summer, and I love. There's very few of these moments like the Cognizant this week where we're gonna have these kind of off weeks. There's a couple more coming throughout the season, but there's few of them.
There has to be. I mean, it's always been this way. Tiger would play 14, 15 events max in a season. I mean, it's just, this is the game. And this is both the downside and the upside of professional golf is as long as you're, retaining your card. And that's why I understand why they're doing these signature, events, because if they didn't have something like that in place, that guys had to play in a certain amount of, it would just be, it'd feel like it'd be like boxing, right? That it just feels like there's too many, titles, right? Like none of the big guys are all playing together because they would obviously all end up just picking the courses that suit their game the best, which is what Tiger did and a lot of other guys throughout their career.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything would just be way too spread out. A guy who did make his return this week, not to the course, but to the arena was Justin Thomas back from injury.
Get out of here.
No, I'm only mentioning it because he's swinging and he announced he's set to return for Bay Hill as his first official PGA start, obviously. But it is good to see Justin Thomas, back out there doing something, or should I say back in there doing something, but you know what I mean.
I do know.
I'm not trying to say TGL.
No, I'm just giving you a hard time.
I know, but honestly, outside of like the tournament talk, like this was kind of a slow news week for golf. Not many big storylines came. I mean, Brooks Koepka charity led the news cycle today. So there's that. So I guess let's just recap the tournament then. Let's recap Genesis because like we said, Bridgman goes out there, gets his first win. He really set the world on fire coming out of Saturday. It almost made it like, well, I really hope someone can push him on Sunday, or this is really going to be an unfortunate Sunday finish here. Luckily, Rory and Kitayama both charged. Bridgman just kind of stayed pat, which when you have that type of lead, that's all you're trying to do. It almost snuck up on him. It almost caught him. But like you alluded to, he was able to make enough key shots and just to hold him off. And I'll tell you that putt on 18 that Rory had to birdie there, I was like, okay, maybe something here. But
I thought there was zero chance.
When you saw where Bridgman was putting from, and he had 3 putts, 2 putts to win 3, I was like, okay, this is in this day and age, it's a miracle if the guy's going to miss 2.
Rory had such a bad putting week. I mean, it's awful. And again, I try not to ever knock these guys' golf games because they're the best in the world. They're way better than all of us, but
no,
I can't fathom how somebody like Rory McIlroy, who goes through like periods where he's a great putter, can look so bad and get so lost. I mean, I think it was it was the first hole on Sunday. He hit it to like 10 feet. He missed that putt 6 inches to the left.
Yeah.
Like, how is that possible? That's either such a bad stroke or such a bad read that, I mean, it was from 10 feet. It should at least scare the hole. It never had a chance going in like off the putter. Yeah. Great job by the cameraman because it was actually at an angle where you knew immediately, well, that's not going in.
Right.
So I don't know what's up, but his putter cost him the event. And the other big takeaway is maybe we were on to something with Scotty Scheffler. And like I said,
3 weeks in a row.
It's concerning. Like, this is what Rory did. And then his game kind of fell apart for a little bit because I just think that, there's some confidence stuff going. But, I mean, it's just crazy because he's playing. He's basically winning these tournaments, from Friday to Sunday, every single one of them. What he's doing on Sunday is why I love Scotty Scheffler. He never gives up. Also,
he'd be smoking the field if he would
robot.
If he would just play on Thursday better, he'd smoked. Like this would be not even competitive on Sundays.
But like, I mean, let's be serious. Like, we were worried about him missing the cut.
Yeah, he was
going
5
into
over.
Friday at an event with 70 players in the top 50 and everyone within 10 shots, all making the cut.
At that point, I think there was only 3 guys missing the cut. It was him, it was Keegan Bradley, and I forget who else it was. But I was at one point I was like, oh, like this is gonna be crazy. Yep. 3 guys missed the cut this week. But it is something that it's at this point it's 3 times
nothing.
It's a pattern developing that is 100% worth talking about. It's not like we're going to sit here and say Scotty's downfall is coming. We're not jumping, into that tank or anything, but it's just a pattern to watch. It's a trend, and it'll kind of define his season on what he does going forward to adjust it.
You can't make up slow starts in the majors. There's a lot of places that you can. You cannot do it at the 4 biggest events of the year. I always think of Tiger in 97. People forget he turned it 4 over in his first round at Masters. He set all those scoring records. The dude shot 40 on the front, a 30 on the back, quickly erased the slow start. But, say he shot even on the back and he was 4 over. Would Tiger have come back? Probably not, to be honest. So, we'll see. It's going to be really interesting. Rory can't make a putt. Scheffler is, again, 3 rounds or 3 of the rounds every tournament. The guy, the opening round, he looks like, I don't even know. He looks like me and you. And then, it's kind of there for the take. Brooks can't make a putt. So there's another
Brooks
big name that
awful.
It's awful.
Which is surprising because it was his putting was very good. And we talked about those tournaments leading up to, he was playing on the DP World Tour, him and who else were we talking about?
Reed.
Patrick Reed. Yeah. They were putting well, but obviously that jump to California and that POA, I think was a massive thing. I think the POA was giving guys trouble.
I think, too, that just PGA Tour greens are really fast. And it's been a while since he's played them. I mean, this week, they're going to be 12 on the stint, and that's, pretty slow.
I was going to say,
for most PGA Tour events. But they have to do that there with the wind and stuff because otherwise, you get some wind gusts, the ball will be literally flying off the greens. But I'm just very curious to see what this season – because right now, this season, to me, is just – chaos. If you look at the winners, it's been chaos. Is that going to be the theme? And are we going to get 4 major champions that are all, wow, I didn't see that coming? Or is one of these guys going to take back over? Remember, this time last year, I think both Rory and Scheffler, Scheffler hadn't yet got hot, but Rory had already won, I think, 3 times.
He won at least twice early on.
Oh, yeah, right. The third was Augusta. So
I think the third was Augusta, yeah.
So we'll see. But last year it was, a ton of wins by just a handful of players.
Right.
This year that doesn't look to be the case.
Which I'm fine with. That means there's value for people like us who want to play DFS, who want to bet. That means that you have a chance at really finding something special out there on any given week. So let's get into the Cognizant Classic then. Let's break this down because like you alluded to, this field it's wide open this week. This is really anybody's tournament. I kind of love these weeks for DFS because you can leave $1,000 on the table and still have a very good lineup because, like I said, anybody can win this, or at least anybody can top 20 this event. So it's a field of 121 players. We have a normal cut, so top 65 in ties. And Joe Highsmith won this last year. Like I said, it is at PGA National on the champion course, par 71, 7,200 yards. So the length of the course is pretty average for the PGA. We are back on Bermuda.
It plays much longer, though. It plays so much longer.
Right, because of the shots they got to play and because of the overseeding, the rough is actually penalizing here. We haven't, for the last
Well,
couple
I
weeks.
think it's actually easier because they
You
went
think
to
it is?
they overseeded ryegrass, and I mean Bermuda grass to me is so much thicker, jumpy. Like it's
Mhm.
hard to know your ball can either go straight down, set up. I felt like last year one of the huge reasons why the scoring was so much lower was that, and really you can look at that also in 2024, which was the first year they did that, and that was when it was still a par 70. And I think 24 guys ended up finishing 10 under or better from 2006 to 2023. 11 guys did that
Right.
combined. So over like
Exactly.
almost 20 years, 11 guys got 10 under or deeper. There's been over 60 just in the last 2 years since they made this change. Again, they overseeded the course to where fairways are much softer, rough is less penalizing. And, yeah, there's still all that water in play, but as long as you avoid the fairway bunkers and you avoid the water, like it's
That's it.
very manageable. And that's what a lot of the guys did was they just, I mean, like Jake Knapp during that 59 was, he was just pounding it down whatever side the water wasn't on and, wedging it up there.
Yeah, those fairway bunkers, like you said, those are probably the most penalizing thing that what they got going on this course for sure. And we do
It
have
still has
much
the
more.
most water balls too. Like, I mean, guys are going to still be
Yep.
going to drink left and right.
Yeah, there's water on 14 holes. There's 60 bunkers. So
10
I
of
mean,
14 D shots. Think about that. 10 of
yeah,
14 D shots, water comes into the play. That's a
yeah,
nightmare.
that's terrifying. It's terrifying for me if I was playing it. But the other kind of interesting fact here, or I guess trend, maybe not fact, but trend, you can look at here if you want to get real specific with the betting. First round leader, majority of the last 5 years has been a morning tee time. So before that sun really comes out and change, that Florida weather.
Winds pick up typically in the afternoons too.
And just specifically for this time of year down there, because obviously, that sun makes a big difference. The mornings are cooler, everything is softer, a little wetter, and then everything dries out and gets a little faster. So if you want to kind of narrow your field down for a first round leader, those AM tee times are probably going to be kind of the grouping. I think there's only been 1 p.m. tee time first round leader in the last 5 years.
Wow.
It might have been 2, but I believe it was only 1 when I did the look. So that's just a little trend. If you want to just narrow your field down, take a look at that. But for the reasons that we did say about the course, some of the key stats that I'm going to be looking at this week is strokes gained approach, which is pretty much just a staple. That's going to be in pretty much everything. Total driving, though, is definitely going to be in there for me this week. Birdies are better just because with the going trend on here, people are going to be scoring, so you got to keep up. I did include putting in here this week as well, just because these greens are tough. I think because we're making the switch from green types, we're coming to Florida for the first time this year. Like, I think we need guys who are feeling consistent and comfortable with the putter at this point. Both, and this is for both comp courses and on the season so far in recent form. I'm kind of weighing both out for putting. I made 2 separate categories because I really want to attack that form. And then strokes gained, par 4 is the other stat I went with as well. Are you narrowing in on any other additional stats as well?
I mean, the first one that I highly recommend, you throw anything out the window before 2024. If you want to use it to your, the guy likes the way the course looks, off the tee or whatever, fine. But in reality, this is not the golf course that it was. And again, 2024, they went to overseed. 2025, they took one of the hardest holes on the golf course, a par 4, the 10th hole, added like 20 yards, and we're like, okay, now we're going to make it a par 5. And the guys absolutely ate it for breakfast. Par 5s to me is a huge thing this week, especially like the ability to make eagles and go for the greens in 2, because even with this course becoming much easier, it is still only those 3 par 5s play under par. Now, those 3 par 5s get absolutely
Hammered.
smacked it. And that's how I think last year was all the way down to like 70.5, or excuse me, 70.5 was like the average round. It just, I think that's going to play a big factor. Also, bogey avoidance, scrambling, huge. I mean, again, you
True.
talked about it. So many approaches are going to come from further this week. You're looking at, I think it's 65% of the shots are going to come from 150 to 200 yards. Like
That sounds
80%
right, yeah.
will come from 125 to 200. Obviously, depending on how conservative you are off the tee, could see a lot of 200 plus yard approaches in. So I look big time at proximity there. And I'm with you. Like, total driving is exactly where I went, because the average driving distance here is 281. That's one of the lowest on tour.
Right.
But if you really look, like last year, I think so many guys, the last 2 years, excuse me, have figured out, if there's water left, rough right, and now the rough is not as penalizing, just bomb it down the right side. And we saw a lot of that last year. A lot more guys getting more aggressive with drivers. And there's a few guys that I'm very interested to see how they play this golf course. Looking at you, Hong Tong Lee, who is not only one of the, like, he got firepower, but he's one of the straightest drivers on the planet. And I can't wait to see if he just, the same thing with Michael Thorbjornsen. Do they just decide to just let it rip, or are they going to lay back? And you also don't want players that make big numbers. You do not. Because this is a course that still you can make a triple, a quad, and it is not that shocking of news when somebody does.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up Michael Thorbjornsen, because he obviously got off to such a hot start this year, and then absolutely just looked terrible, last week and in the week before. So like, no, am I thinking the week before? He looked terrible at Pebble. It was at Pebble. So I feel like people are gonna be off him for recency bias. They're not gonna necessarily realize that course really just. It wasn't his week there, and that's the type of course that Pebble can be. If you're not on it exactly what you have to be on it, it's such a unique course. I don't think that necessarily is going to 100% travel with him. So I think you can get him at like kind of an ownership discount this week, because
arguably the most talented guy in the field. That's what I put in my article. Is like, that's what I mean. This is like, in this like field right here, I think he's got probably more talent than anybody in it. And maybe Blades Brown could make an argument. He's like, I'm 16 and I'm doing what I'm doing. So maybe, okay, do you want to say Blades Brown? But that's why you got to, take your shots this week. This is a week where I am not going to, have a bunch of bets on guys, pretty much 40 to 1 or less, because their odds are ridiculous. Like, I love Shane Lowry. I love Ryan Gerard this week. I think they rightfully are first and second on the betting board, but getting them at less than 20 to 1, get out of here. Like, that's not even worth it. Like, it may end up winning, but that's really risky, because they're not those level players to be getting, 20 to 1.
There's just no edge there. And you mentioned Blades Brown, because Blades Brown is someone that I'm just really enjoying watching. This is obviously the start of his career right now. It's something fun to watch, and I'm very curious to see where that goes. He obviously doesn't have a ton of PGA rounds under his belt, so when you're talking mathematical models and whatnot, he's obviously, you don't expect him to model out great, because the sample size is so small, and the type of course and all that, like, there's just not enough consistency built there yet. But even with that being said, at 6,800, he still modeled out 25th in my model this week. So Blades Brown is going to be someone I'm definitely going to be sprinkling into my lineups. I'm not necessarily confident enough yet to put him, say, in my core, like my core 4 or 5, but I'm going to be sprinkling Blades Brown in for sure, because he's
one of 7 guys in the field who is above average strokes gain approach, proximity 150, 200, strokes gain ball striking, scrambling, bogey avoidance, strokes gain putting on Bermuda greens. The rest of that list, which to me, that is just an elixir of success here. Christian Busenhout, Messier, Berger, Thorbenson, McGreevy, Balamecki, and Blades Brown. But I mean, for
Yeah.
him to be on that list at 16
It's
is
impressive.
freaking ridiculous.
Well, he's third in the field in strokes gained on par 4 right now,
Mhm.
which is wild. He's 45th when birdies are better. So yeah, that's 100% all reasons why he will be, and not to mention number 16 in total driving too in this field. So like he's 100% going to be sprinkled in. And like I said, at 20, ranking out 25th in my model with his sample size and all that, it's just too good to. It's too exciting to not to not mix them in. But let's get into some more of the specifics of our guys here now. Your guys will be surprised to me. I didn't see it updated in the sheet here, but I updated mine, so I'm looking forward to hearing yours and see where we align here. Because I guess I'll just do my core first. I have five in my core this week, so I'm going to kick it off with Max Home at 7,900. He's just playing very good right now, and this is a course I know he's not only played a lot on tour, but I know he's played a lot on the side, practice rounds, and YouTube videos and things like that. To where like I know he's been around this course once or twice, so I'm comfortable with Max Home, especially at 7,900. That still feels like a steal for this field. You mentioned Ryan Gerard; he's in my core, 9,700. And then Rasmus Højgaard as well. I think both Højgaard brothers are very playable this week. There might even be a lineup or two where I play them both together. We shall see. But Rasmus is the one that models out better for me. I like the way he's playing. You mentioned Christian Bezuidenhout as well. His putting is, I think, going to stand out as a huge. Him and Rasmus Højgaard, their putting, I think, is going to be noticeably better than a lot of guys this week, which is the main reason why I'm on both of them in my core this week. And then kind of a flyer and a core here, but the price is good, and I'm sure his ownership's going to be low. Chris Ventura, he models out. He's 7,200. He models out 12th in my model. Really, strokes gained approaches his weakest stat, but everything else he is like top 20 in for me. So that's something I just can't ignore when the numbers say that much in this type of field. Like, so I'm going to keep saying that tonight, this type of field, anything can happen. You got to look where other people aren't looking. I feel like people are going to ignore Chris Ventura a little bit. I'd be curious to see the ownership on him.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I like all those. I mean, Ryan Gerard for me is just automatic. Real break on DraftKings that all the guys that basically dropped out of the field were the most expensive ones. So you can there's probably not going to be a lineup I have that doesn't have 2 to 3 of Gerard, Lowry, Thorbenson, and Bezuidenhout, who I just think all incredible values. I think the best value on the entire board is Hotong Lee, 8,100.
Yeah, I've heard him a lot this week.
I mean, this is a course that he should absolutely have a field day with. He's top 20 both in driver accuracy and total driving. He's top 20 in strokes gained approach and green and regulation percentage. He's actually been pretty good at scrambling. I think this, of course, sets up very well for him. And then I really like some of the cheaper guys, like Sam Ryder at 7,300 is a lock for me this week. He is a guy that has certain courses that he plays very well. This is one of them. He's made the cut each of the last 2 years, even with the course changing. And he's got multiple top 10s before that at this venue. Another guy that's just an elite iron player, elite putter, and his putter is hot right now. And again, this is the kind of course he should do very well. The fact that he's playing well, playing courses where he's giving up so much distance, and that's not going to happen here because, again, guys are going to lay back.
Right.
So it's playing Ryder from 150, 175 and further in, like he's going to have the advantage over most players. So I love that play. I like Lee Hodges a lot at 7,100 as well. I think he finished top 10 here last year, dominates par fives. another guy that's a good iron player. Andrew Putnam is another guy, 6,800, who had a really good showing last year in his first time playing since they changed this event. He obviously had a really good event earlier out west. You mentioned Blades Brown, who I also like. And then the other guy for me, because of this field, to quote my good friend Andrew, Adam Hadwin, $6,700, man.
Oh, we haven't heard his name in a
Runner
while.
up last week on the Corn Ferry Tour. This is a venue he's had some success at. He only got into this after like 6 guys ended up dropping out. I could just see Hadwin, right, like having a good week because he knows this week field, a top 10 could lead to other big things. And I'm not gonna lie,
True.
maybe I did throw $1 or 2 down at him at 120 to 1 to win the tournament. Why not? But I mean, I really do. I think Hadwin at 6,700, you're getting in the 6K range anyway. It's risky. Why not have a guy that, has, had a really good PGA Tour career, and obviously he's still hungry and wanting to go because he went down to the Corn Ferry, because he lost his card last year, and I just think he's the kind of player that could take advantage of this opportunity.
I don't think I'm going to have the balls to play Adam Hadwin this week, but I'll be watching him for you. But it's Adam Hadwin. I'm not quite there yet, but I understand the argument. I'm just don't have as much guts as you. Is what it comes.
You're playing a 16-year-old, and you're telling me that I'm the one with guts.
Well, this same 16-year-old has looked like nails every time we've seen him.
I'm not denying that. This is a golf course, though, that we'll find out like his temperament and stuff, which he has made. It's to your point. He's making a ton of birdies, which is great. He also is making a lot of bogeys. That's why he's not like, in contention to win these events.
Right.
And this is the kind of course that just, I'm also playing him, in some of these lineups just because where are you getting that kind of firepower at 6,800, with the bonuses for birdies, eagles, etc. But I do have like real concerns that it could, the Cinderella story, if we will, kind of ends this week with a thud, because this is even a much easier PGA National, like what we've seen the last couple of years. I mean, what was it? We said 10 of 14 par 4s.
Right.
There's friggin' water in play off the tee. Like, you have a bad day with your driver. I couldn't imagine what that feels like when you're only like about 8 holes in and you're like, oh my God, I only got like 6 tee shots left with water either all the way down the right or left side.
This is the type of tournament where his caddy is going to play a big role if he does succeed have success this week, because he's going to need to, tone down that teenage piss and vinegar where he's going to get up there and want to absolutely smash it, and the caddy's going to have to reel him in sometimes, like you said, and just play this smart and put the ball over here. So it is 100% a test week this week for Blades Brown. Curious your thoughts on Will Zalatoris this week, because Zal has been, I just called him Zal. I don't know why that just came out. I don't like it. So ignore me. Will Zalatoris has, he's been very hit or miss so far this year. It's either he does well or a cut. Pretty much everything has been looking good for him in his game, really, other than the putter. He hasn't gained a stroke putting in his last 200 rounds. I'm looking at right now. Everything else, though, is for the majority green as far as gaining strokes in every other main category. But putting has been absolutely brutal. And do you feel
this is
like
going to be breaking news, but I believe putting is still important on the PGA Tour. And Zalatoris struggling with the flat stick. That's a tale as old as time. So no surprise. And I mean, he can overcome it. I would. That's like what I'm trying to get to.
He's been able to
this week if it was the old PGA National, right? Like where, if we're talking about like 10 under is about as deep as anybody's going to get.
Yeah.
Then yeah, man, like sign me up. I don't know, like unless he just gets really hot with the putter, which it's possible because these greens are not that difficult. Like a lot of guys make putts of length here. The greens are
Yeah.
relatively flat. Again, no surprise because of all the high winds. They can't be having, all this undulation and stuff because the
Right.
ball won't hold on the green. So, the defense to this golf course is tee to green. And Zalatoris, I think, still, is one of the better ball strikers out there. I'm pulling for him. I didn't know it was that bad though. 200 straight rounds. Like, and don't take this the wrong way because this is going to sound bad, but to any of those Zalatoris people out there, he could close his eyes and putt, I think.
Right.
And in 1 or 200 rounds, he would gain strokes on the
Right.
field. Like, that is insane. Because remember, people, we're not talking about gaining strokes on everybody, like the field, the field average.
Well,
and the fact that he's not gaining strokes in that many events is just insane. That's the stat of the year for me so far.
Well, this is where now I'm confused even by what I just read here, because on one chart here on BetSperts Golf, it's showing, strokes getting putted last 8 rounds, last 16, and that's where I'm seeing, across over his last 200 rounds, so I think I read this wrong. So it's not 200 rounds in a row. Over his last 200 rounds, he still has,
he's losing stroke. Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I misread that, missaid that, because
okay.
I did.
I was gonna be like, man, that it feels almost impossible because again, you just have to get lucky, right? Like, I mean, these guys are playing so many rounds, you would think eventually, a couple of 60-footers fall, and that's all you need to gain strokes for the week, to be honest.
Yeah. So looking at specific tournaments, he does have tournaments where he's gaining strokes putting. But
how's he doing? Like, what did he do last year on the Bermuda courses, like this stretch?
Let me see here. So
even though technically these are Rye and Bermuda, but they're still plenty of Bermuda.
Let's see. This is I want here. Come on, why can't I read? There we go. I went right past it. Let's see. So, and then I want to cancel that. Okay. Nope, cancel that too. All right, so let's see. So he has done poor. He's done poor. Back to 2021, he has only gained strokes putting twice, and that was at the Arnold Palmer in 24,
and that was, I think, a year he contended, if I don't remember.
Yeah, and then it was the Players last year, actually, were the 2 times that he gained strokes putting.
It's a shame, man. He got hurt when I think he had one of the most consistent golf swings on tour. He could put the ball, on a 3x3 slab if he needed to. And just, man, once you start having back issues, and he's so young, as somebody that has had their neck fused and has back issues, just the worst. Like, it can be just a little chilly and you wake up and you can't move. You can sleep the wrong way. You wake up, you can't move. And I want him to win. He's one of my favorite guys on tour. I mean, how can you not pull for Happy Gilmore's caddy? But
I know I do want him.
I do have questions about, can he make enough birdies on this golf course to keep up with the guys that, there is some firepower. Keith Mitchell is another one that we didn't talk about, that it feels like this is set up. Like, he's getting no love anywhere. And so you're telling me a course where you need to drive it relatively straight, be a good iron player, and make some putts. That's Keith Mitchell, man. And he really does love this Florida swing, courses in the South. That's where he's from.
Right.
He's a member out at Sea Island. They have lightning fast Bermuda greens. I think he's an interesting DFS play too at 9,300, because I think he'll be very low owned with like Lowry, Gerard, Buzenhout, Thorbenson,
the guys
like
right
all
around
those
him.
guys in that range. And I think Mitchell is about as safe as any of them. I mean, I would be really shocked if he misses the cut here.
Yeah, and that's fair. That's 100% fair. Real fast before we go, Ali Khan, I do see you now.
Ali Khan.
I just said your name, so you're
Say
welcome.
my name, say my name.
And hi
No
again.
one is around you.
And then thank you for jumping in as well, Mushta Bashad. I hope I said that right. I apologize if I didn't. If you would like to call us journalists, go for it. We will.
I write an article every week. I'm going to call
do.
myself a sports journalist.
Keith is much more of a sports journalist than me. I am more of a bumbling, talking pundit. Is what I will call myself. You know what? I am a personality. I like that. But look, that is going to do it for us this week on Divots and Pivots here. We're here every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, or like tonight. Sorry for a little late, 8:05. But we are always here. Thank you to That Sports Podcast Network for the visuals, and Golfer Gang Network for all the audio distribution. Couldn't do this without you guys, and couldn't do it without you guys listening and watching us right now. So thank you. Good luck on the Cognizant this week as we get ready to enter the real meat of the PGA season coming up in the next month.
Wait.
So we love you, and as always, stay classy.